我暑假的时候特别差一个在5大行里面做投行的一个人，头发已经秃得一半，然后鼻子是肿胀的。
To slightly over 100K. Like if you're actually interested in finance, I sort of think you might not even watch videos like this.
所以你是谁？从哪里来？到哪里去
Going to heaven! Is that recorded?
It is.
Oh god.
Hello， 大家好，这是 Adam。Hello，
大家好，这是 Eric。
欢迎来到了不起的亚当。
I don't know what I'm saying。
今天非常有幸请来了我的好朋友 Eric 同学。Eric 是我们学院的金融大佬之一，同时也是教了我非常多金融知识的人。所以请到 Eric 来跟我们说一说金融是什么样回事，包括金融一些行业。接下来邀请 Eric 来介绍一下自己吧。
Yeah, sure. So my name's Eric. I'm currently in the final year of my university program. I'm studying business and computer science with a focus in finance. Like Adam said, I've had a little bit of work experience in finance, so so I've had a little bit of work experience. Happy to be here to share it with you guys today.
第一个问题是想问一下 Eric 当时为什么？第一个问题是想问一下。第一个问题是想问一下 Eric 当时为什么会从事金融这个道路
？Yeah, that's a question I get a lot actually. But so when I came to university in first year, I actually didn't really know what finance is, and I didn't really want to go into finance. I spent a lot more time coding, writing code in my room. But so as I started learning more about business and about commerce, I realized that finance is a great way to learn about all different parts of the business and about all different kinds of businesses. So if that's something that you're really interested in, I'd say like finance is a great place to be.
因为上次我跟 David 做这个采访的时候，他说了同样的问题，就是很多人为什么去 audit， 包括他为什么选择 audit 这个行业，就是因为他觉得 audit 可以学 every aspect of the business， 所以那 audit 跟 finance 就是说学的东西是差不多的咯。
You learn different parts of the business, right? In finance, you're often thinking about the strategy of the business and at many different levels. How does the strategy and the operations of the business work financially? My experience with accounting and audit in particular is it's very sort of backwards looking. Instead of looking at what the company's strategy is and where the company's trying to be in the future, my experience with audit has been you're looking at the past and you're trying to think about, okay, like what has this company been doing in the last 2, 3, whatever, however many years.
Yeah.
I'm just more excited by what's happening in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years as opposed to looking back.
因为刚才介绍过程中，我把 Eric 说成是金融的教科书。然后包括我知道 Eric 之前大一在香港做过投行，之后在渥太华做过房地产，就在多伦多做过 System Trading， 就是交易员、贸易员吧。不知道 Eric 能跟我们简单说一下金融这个领域、这个行业的岗位的划分应该是怎么样划分的
？Yeah, sure. You're asking about the structure.
I'm asking the structure.
The structure. Okay, yeah. So the structure. So yeah, Adam kind of summarized my work experience a little bit. I probably should have done that in the intro, but thanks for doing that. So I've had a little bit of work experience. Seen a little bit of how things work. I think that there's a lot of sources on the internet. From what I saw, right, you can sort of think about the industry in a lot of different ways. One way that I think is really helpful for anybody trying to find a job in finance would be to think about it in terms of the buy side versus the sell side. If you're talking about sort of capital markets. And then there's also sort of non-capital markets finance jobs, right? You can talk about sort of working in the industry and finance as well. But so with respect to capital markets, if you're on the sell side, in general, you're trying to sell something. And usually that's a company or a stock or something like that. Or maybe you're trying to sell mutual funds. The people that you're trying to sell them to, your clients, are the companies that are on the buy side. So on the buy side, you have companies like investment managers, private equity firms, hedge funds, and much like their name suggests, they will buy the things that the sell side tries to sell them. So that's important to know if you're trying to find a job in finance, just because there's slight differences between how you might go about getting a job on either side and what the job actually looks like on either side. The business is totally different. I guess the major differences between the two sides is on the sell side, obviously, a lot more of your job is trying to sell things and come up with new things to sell, like new financial products, innovative trading strategies, different services. Whereas on the buy side, you're trying to think about, okay, how do I generate good investment returns at acceptable levels of risk? What are some different trading strategies I can employ that my investors might like? how do I find new investors? How do I get my firm to maybe open up a new fund or something like that? So these are sort of they're very different jobs, right? And I guess like if anybody has a preference of one or the other, you might look at what differences between them.
估计大部分同学都非常在意的一个话题就是金融这个行业的薪资待遇是什么样子的。我们可能只说多伦多这一片嘛，因为可能其他没也不一样，可能多伦多、北美啊这种。
So I mean, typical salaries out of grad, and you'll probably find that my answers don't deviate from any of the other online sources very much. You're looking at anywhere between like 80 to slightly over 100K on average for a new grad or entry level job, which is quite high for jobs that you can get out of university. And then sort of as you move up, you get sort of deeper into six figures. So that would be specific to kind of capital markets, investment banking, those kinds of jobs. Like if you're looking at other areas of finance, it'd probably be a little bit.
真人真事啊，就是我暑假的时候特别差一个在五大行里面投行一个人，他的 LinkedIn 上面照片是他刚毕业的照片，他现在是在1年以后，我看他头发已经秃了一半，一个白人的小哥，头发已经秃了一半，然后鼻子是肿胀的。然后呢，他自己说自己没什么压力，但是我会觉得会不会是你从事金融行业吧，会有非常多的压力在，而且你没有一个很好的 work-life balance。
Yeah, sure. I think there's a reason why a lot of senior people in finance don't have very much hair. So I'm going to try to hold on to this as long as I can. But finance is a very stressful job. And I've been saying this over and over, but there are other jobs that are also very stressful, right? Like if you're the mayor of a city, that's also really, really
24/7 job.
Yeah, that's 24/7. Like if someone's house, like a bunch of houses catch fire, like that's probably more serious than anything that could happen. Right. I mean, I think a lot of the pressure and the stress that gets created inside finance and financial jobs is sort of kind of unnecessary. Like very specific to the culture that you work in. Because I think that some firms have a more laid-back culture where not everyone is super stressed out all the time, whereas other firms have this culture that was always and people almost compete to see who works more. But so those type of dynamics exist in every industry. Like there's computer scientists that work all night just because they love their job, right? And that's another part of it is in finance, you'll find that as you become more senior, there's a lot of people who actually are very dedicated to their job, or at least I found.
什么样的人适合做金融这个方面的工作，包括需要什么 skill sets 吧？
Well, in the 9 months I've worked in finance, I can tell you how to succeed in finance for 9 months, which might not be very interesting to you guys, but
更多是一个 observation， 就是一个我们从学生角度去观察这个世界的时候，它是我们目前看到是什么样子的。
You have to be very attentive to detail, that's for sure. I don't think very many people are born with the level of attention to detail that you sort of are expected of in finance. I think you have to work hard. I mean, I don't.
996
but work hard. Okay, what does that mean? Like
get the job done.
Yeah, to me that's what that means, right? If you say you're going to get something done, just do it, and then maybe on top of that, try to find things that people didn't tell you to do that you can get done, and then do those things. And that's something that just kind of makes sense to do, right? Okay, if I run into a problem, I can either solve it or not, and so if I'll probably try to solve it, right? If I run into a problem. Like as a junior level person, I think it's really, really important to take an interest and to ask a lot of questions and to, like Adam said, right, treat it almost as university. It's kind of interesting because when you go to university, the professor talks to you for like an hour and a half, and then at the end they say, hey, do you have any questions for me? And nobody raises their hand.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be there to learn. And then when you get to the workplace, people ask a lot more questions. In two ways, like ask a lot of questions, but also like know which questions to ask.
因为阿刚说的这些，大部分都是 soft skill， 对吧？是软技能。但是另外一方面，有一些 hard skill 会不会是从业者需要具备的一些 hard skill？
I mean, in finance, there's very few things that you really have to know for them to hire you. Like the soft skills really do matter a lot more. with finance in particular, the technicals are important still for getting the job. There's a lot of tools that you learn to do financial analysis, to solve problems using finance in business school. And in interviews, often you'll be asked about those tools, or you might be asked in an interview to apply those tools. So for example, an interviewer might give you a situation and say, okay, I have a company, they make this much money every year, they have this much in cost. What else do you want to know from me in order to decide whether you want to invest or not? If you get that kind of an interview question, first of all, you have to know what makes a company one that you would want to invest in.
Right.
How do you evaluate that? Right. What would make a company investable or not based on the information that you just asked for?
Right.
That's kind of what I mean by technicals is like understand all the tools and then be able to tell people about them.
能不能再具体一点，说是哪些 tools?
So I mean, in finance, you'll probably want to know how to do a discounted cash flow.
Discounted cash flow.
Like if you haven't done one already,
watch that video.
Watch this video and then also just sort of like understand how it works. Like discounted cash flow, other valuation methodologies, like comparable companies analysis,
Comparable company,
present transactions, like leverage buyouts, things like that. Although also again, it depends on what industry you're trying to get into, right? Some of those things are more relevant for different industries.
Right.
Other tools you might want to learn about, for example, macroeconomics. What are interest rates? What happens when they go up or down? What about exchange rates? These sorts of things that you might see on a day-to-day basis, you should know in a sort of systematic way, as opposed to just sort of reading the news. Maybe pick up a textbook about macroeconomics and you can read about interest rates or take a class on it or something like that.
还有 accounting.
Yeah, accounting is really important as well. So how to analyze financial statements, how to understand their impact on financial decisions.
在大二暑假是吧？大二暑假结束之后，艾瑞回来跟我们见面，他就说我暑假读了一本书，叫做 Security Analysis。然后呢，我就上网查一下这个书的厚度，大概是一本新华字典那么厚，估计有我这电脑一半大吧，一半这么大这么厚一本书，对，差不多吧。所以有些我觉得学金融的一些知识是你要硬花下时间来去啃东西的，要啃一本书。Yeah, it's like
I know.
然后我不知道 Eric 给我们在座的各位看官们介绍一下你自己学金融的时候是用一些什么样的工具。
Like if you're actually interested in finance, I sort of think you might not even watch videos like this. You would be going and trying to learn. Did I not say that?
It's okay. Yeah.
I won't say that. You can cut that out.
No, I think you should say that. I think that's a strong opinion. So I want to put it in actually.
Because they'd be more interested to learn what have the masters been doing, like the masters of finance. What are they up to, right? As opposed to me, who's been in the industry for 9 months. Personally, I went to a lot of different sources. YouTube was really important for me. All the videos I watched were of CEOs of banks, of other companies, interviews or speeches. I watched those videos and I could see, like, okay, what are the leaders in finance worried about? What do they talk about? What are things they find interesting? Do I find those things interesting? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I mean, like, class definitely is helpful too. If you're in a business program or a finance program, I've also just, because I have nothing to do with my life and I don't have friends except Adam, I buy textbooks and I read the textbooks. To me, it's like a course, but I don't have to pay tuition. I just have to pay for the textbook. Well, one more, this one's probably the most important, I can't believe I almost forgot, is just talking to people. There's a lot of people, I'm lucky to be at a school where there's a lot of people that are very helpful. And I'm lucky to have worked at companies where people are very helpful. And that doesn't mean that you have to know these people to begin with. You can make new friends and build a network. Yeah. And if you don't have that kind of environment around you, like if you were studying something completely different, or maybe you switched university programs, or you're not in university at all, what I would suggest is reach out to people that are working in the fields you want to work in, or people that are studying in areas that you are interested in. Try to get to know what they're doing. Sort of like this. Have a chat with them and see what they have to say, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't hurt if you.
因为我之前看那个Bill Gates，就是比尔盖茨的那个 Netflix 上面那个 show 嘛，就是比尔盖茨有一天和沃伦巴菲特认识了，比尔盖茨的爸爸就问比尔盖茨和巴菲特，就是你们能不能说一个词让你们得到今天的成功？他们都说一个词，专注。 就会让我觉得你认真去做这个东西的时候，你不要去想其他的，就想学金融，就不要在乎金融赚多少钱，不要在乎金融能帮你得到什么样的名利、名声好听呀，你就单纯去看金融这个东西，它本身就已经有足够的乐趣让你去继续去钻研了。我觉得是这样的，我觉得这个是一个非常好的一个从事东西一个态度。